On today's episode, we talk about vibe coding. We talk about human in the loop. And we talk about the internet built for AIs. And we also talk about AI to win at fantasy football, because that's a big one that we need to cover. Stay tuned. Welcome to the AI Lab Unfiltered podcast. We're going to talk about AI.
Really?
Right, Pete?
Damn, I'm in the right place.
Right, Pete from New Wave?
Yes, Drew from BizStream.
That's Drew from BizStream. So I want to throw out, we are in the beautiful studio Jefferson, right outside Grand Rapids, and we are powered by Think Tank Thought Leadership. And they do the thinking for us. If you're wanting to do a podcast, use Think Tank because they will literally run the whole thing for you.
They do the thinking, we do the tanking.
Yeah, whatever that means. Yeah,
we've tanked this podcast.
All ones of you listening out there, we'd like to.
We're not tanked at the moment, but maybe we should grab a drink after this.
I was gonna bring beer for all of us, but 131 South, from I-96 was closed, and so I had to go around, and then I ended up going. I missed the Hall Street exit. So then I went up to Burton and then looped back around. So I was glad you guys took a little bit longer on the last one because I was like, I think I strolled in at like 10:57, and I know it's like be here at 1:45.
Yeah.
And so I was like,
no, you're good. You're good.
And we've got one of our friends of the show on here. Again, this is the second time returning, and because he didn't bring beer, this is the last time he'll be on here. Just kidding. John Butler, the co-owner of Kairos Digital. Welcome, John.
What's up, guys?
Welcome back.
Glad you're back. Glad you're back on here.
Was the last one in March? April, maybe?
I think so. It was.
You might as well have said 1952. I have no.
In AI terms.
I think it was still cold.
Yeah.
So I don't think we hit summer yet.
We're going to talk about vibe coding.
Yeah.
Because you do a lot of vibe coding.
A lot of it.
And you do it pretty well, too. From what I've heard from others, even.
Yeah, I guess I'm okay.
People are saying that
People are talking about you.
That you do it well.
I've got a client in the backspace over there. I'm working with John on a project.
Oh, no way.
Nice.
Yeah, John was just in here.
Yep.
That's awesome. So talk to me about what the last time we were on, we talked about a couple projects of yours. You've got some new stuff that you want to show. Mm-hmm. Talk to me.
Well, I'm trying to think where we left off last time. I mean, we talked about some of the projects that I was building. We talked about idea inventory a little bit, some voice AI. But, I kind of started getting into this heavily in the beginning of the year. Since then, there's been a lot that's transpired. These have been going really well. Awesome. Currently, I've got 16 projects in flight. And I will say that probably all of them will get done before mid to end November. So with all of that being said, what I'm bringing to you guys today is something that I'm really excited about. It's called Human in the Loop. Okay. And basically what I've done with all of this vibe coding is AI by itself, it kind of sucks. Right, like it can do a little bit, and we talked about like the replets and the lovables and how they're good at doing these like visuals. And when we were talking about idea inventory, I was saying, well, I kind of solved that by being able to do comprehensive technical blueprints to give it to the AI builder, right? Well, the other thing that I found is that these AI builders, right, they're super buggy. Yeah. And especially if you're trying to build something like super custom. If you just want like a marketing landing page, they're great. They do a really good job. But the thing is that they are, they're kind of focused on one file at a time. They're writing code in one file at a time, and they don't have full context of everything else and how whatever they're writing affects everything else that they're doing. Mm-hmm. And so that was kind of my first goal to try and solve, like, how can I get AI to have full context of the entire project, especially when it gets really, really large? How do I have it look at everything so it's not like creating all these bugs, right? I do this update on this portion of the software and the whole thing breaks. And then I'm spending an hour trying to debug that, small little enhancement that I was trying to do.
Yeah, we've always said AI gets you 85% of the way there, but that last 15% that you have to build out then and tweak and modify and get it correct takes 10 weeks.
It's tough. It's definitely tough. But because of just like the experience and the knowledge that I've put together over the last 20 years of doing software sales, I've kind of like been able to bridge some gaps and be able to like solve some things that these AI builders, it's either not on their radar or maybe it's not like the actual use case that they're trying to do. So for me, I'm trying to help clients build custom software, right? And I want to be able to leverage these AI tools to do it very quickly and to be cost effective. Mm-hmm. The biggest problem there is like it can do it quick, it's cost effective, but the quality is junk, right? Yeah. And so, a majority of these are building vaporware, they're building prototypes. So I started looking at all these different tools to try and leverage, right? I've got a burner Instagram account, I've got a burner TikTok account, where I will get on that and I will scroll because I've got the algorithm in a way where it's just like only giving me like new tools, AI insights.
Well, that's a smart way to do it.
Because I didn't want it on my personal
life hack
one,
right there.
My personal one, I want to see stuff about like 3i Atlas and crazy stuff.
Right. You could do a whole podcast on that.
Yeah. I was actually listening to something with Avi Loeb on
was on Rogan.
Yeah,
I listened to that one too.
Yeah. He talks really fast, so I like to listen to my podcast at like 1.5, and I couldn't do it with
It's exactly what I do. I had to turn it down. It's like at 1.2, 1.3.
It's at 0.75.
Yeah, and he's got like that German accent, so it's like makes it a little bit harder to understand too.
Yeah.
And
it's cool to listen to. I mean, I don't know. We can kind of get sidetracked. What do you think it is? Do you think it's a spaceship? Do you think it's a comet?
I'm kind of like. What is it? What was the show with Scully and Mulder? X-Files.
You want to believe.
Yeah, like I should have that T-shirt. So I don't know. I kind of lean towards believing that there's a little bit more to what's going on there.
I feel the same way.
Weird.
Weird is underlined multiple times. I'm the same way. I want to believe it is, but I need that just that concrete to push me over.
Yeah.
The anti-tail is so strange.
Yeah.
Like it seems like that would have to be some sort of propulsion system, like pushing it away from the sun's gravity, right? Because it doesn't want to get.
It wants to slow down. It wants to take some pictures.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So that's, anyways, that's my personal like Instagram and TikTok account is just stuff like that. But so this other one, I'm always looking at these different tools, and the tool that is probably a top 5 one for me is Parallel.ai. You guys familiar with that?
No,
haven't heard of that one.
I've got it up right here. So let me show you guys this. Oh, well, I guess I need to connect to the internet. I'll just use my phone.
All right.
My phone will be faster. All right.
there should really be a sign in here with the password.
So if you guys aren't using this, let me see if I can just get to the main page. Okay, so Parallel.ai is something that I found while I was like scrolling, I don't know, TikTok or Instagram or whatever. It's crazy as it is to say, it's a new internet. And so you can see right here, it's AI are the new users. It's got the highest accuracy web search for your AI. So I kind of came to this realization in maybe July that when I would make API calls to Claude or OpenAI or whatever to try and do research for me, the research was not accurate, right? We all know if you know something very intensely and you ask AI to go do a bunch of research for you, it's not going to give you solid information back. Right. Some of it is good, right? But when we're looking at this, and I can't remember the exact number, so don't quote me on this, but I think ChatGPT 5.0, they claim to have a 57% accuracy with whatever it is doing for live web search. And Perplexity, I want to say, is like 9%. And those guys, they're happy with that. They think it's pretty good. And so I figured this out because I'm in this fantasy football league. And it's with a bunch of buddies from high school. We've been doing it for 20 years. And they all pay these massive subscriptions for these tools to help give them advice. And I'm like, I'm not paying like $150 a month for this stuff. But I want to beat them. I've won the league twice, right? And so
there's that competitive edge.
I'm trying to beat these guys. And so I was like, why don't I just make my own AI tool to like give me insights and you know, kind of like scroll through our league and tell me if guys get dropped or tell me if there's injuries. I wanted to go through X and to look at all these beat reporters, and if there's stuff happening, these beat reporters are going to be the first ones to know about it. And so I had it start like pulling all this information, and I was noticing, I was like, this is way off. Right? It was talking about Aaron Rodgers for the Jets, and it was saying stuff about Christian McCaffrey being injured. And I was like, well, no, right? I know for a fact that Aaron Rodgers is not on the Jets anymore, and Christian McCaffrey's healthy from what I know. And so I was like, why are you telling me this information? And it's like, well, you know, sorry, I'm getting research confused with training data. Right. So it cuts off at a lot of these. It's like January 2025. And so all these AI agents, right, these LLMs, they're designed to be helpful. And so above all else, they're trying to give you information. They're not just going to say like, sorry, I can't do it. Sorry, I can't, to everything.
Right.
Because that's what they would probably do for a majority. And people would be pissed off and be like, I'm not using this anymore. I'm going to go back to Googling stuff. And so because they're designed to be helpful, they fabricate to the point where I was telling it like, hey, I want links included with this. I was trying to fix it, and I was like, include links so I can verify that the information that you're telling me
cite your source
is true. And it would provide links, and I would click on the link, and it's a bogus link. And I was like, you got to be kidding me with this.
Yep.
So I ended up finding this, and what this does is it's basically a way for AI to view the internet. So AI, right, does not see what we're seeing right here. It can't. It doesn't have eyeballs, right? We see this image. We see stuff flashing across the screen. We see black text, right? I mean, maybe it can kind of see that, but it can't pull like, you know, what's in the hero image to see certain things. It just doesn't get all of the context. And so what this company did, so this is the guy that launched this is the former CEO of Twitter. So in between Dorsey and Musk was this guy, and I can't think of his name. He's a younger guy. I want to say he's like in his early to mid 40s. And so when Elon bought Twitter, turned it into X, he fired this guy. That guy started building this. And so check this out. So what he does is he turns all these different websites into this view. So then AI can go look at everything like this and have eyes like we do. So this is their website. And so when AI is tasked out to like, hey, tell me about Parallel, what does it do? How does it work? Instead of seeing what we just saw, the human view, it sees everything in the machine view. And so I was like, well, this is pretty cool. I can really leverage this to do some good stuff. So now when you're working on projects and you need to find the latest tools, you need to find whatever, design trends, you can't just have your AI agent go do it, right? You're going to want to do a deep research. And so if we look at history, let's see. All right, so this is where I was trying to put another tool into Claude Code called Puppeteer. And so I was just trying to get some information on the best way to do it. I don't want to read all of this, right? There's a ton that it's finding. It looked at 1,456 different pages, and then it actually leveraged 669. And so it derived a really nice report, but I don't want to read it. So what I do is I put it in machine view, copy it in either a JSON or Markdown file, and then go give it to my AI agent to then start to leverage and give me insights and whatever I want to do. So this basically is the tool that I'm going to give to other AI agents to go search the web live. I shit you guys not, as I was like getting into this and starting to build these different loops, I was like, man, this is kind of like Skynet.
Yeah.
Right? Because if AI agents can like get everything in real time with absolute accuracy, they're going to get a lot smarter. And so as I was syncing up these API keys to these different AI agents, I was like, I really hope I'm not making Skynet. Like, there's got to be other people that are doing this too, right? This cannot just be me that's like adding these different tools together. There's got to be other people that are doing it. And I started to make myself feel better. I was like, hey, I'm not the only one that's doing it. Other people are doing this for sure.
No, this is exciting because when they make the Netflix movie about you creating Skynet, they'll use footage from the podcast, and Drew and I will be in it.
Yeah,
like
well,
we're a part of history.
Yeah,
This is awesome.
I can at least say like right now, like, oh, look, I wasn't trying to do it. I just wanted to build software.
That's how they all start. It's all something very altruistic, and next thing you know, you're annihilating the whole planet.
Next thing you know,
Good work.
the whole planet's getting
All right,
nuked,
so
and we got
hopefully
robots
before
running.
that happens,
Like and
AI
subscribe.
Atlas will bring aliens down, and that will clear me of all like the trouble I could get in for some sort of Skynet machine. So that kind of leads me down to the next part of this. Right now, my AI agents can actually go do what they're supposed to do. They can find information. They can get like accurate data for me to be able to use to leverage in these other tools.
Can I pause you just for a second?
Sure.
I don't want you to lose track, but just for clarification. So right now, if I'm using ChatGPT, I can go in, I can hit the plus sign, and I can pull up the tool that says web search.
Yeah.
And that is going to go scan the internet the traditional way. It's going to try to mimic how a human would go and search the internet.
Kind of.
But you're searching in a different way. So you're calling an API to parallel that goes to the AI formatted version of those pages.
Yes. So there's two ways to use parallel. You can either use the API and have that go directly to the software, and then have your other LLMs analyze and put together information that you're looking for, or you can just manually do it like this
Within the parallel interface.
Yeah. So if I wanted to do new research, I would just click here, and I would say like, hey, I want to do whatever, right? I'm trying to find data on these things, and so then it's going to go do that deep research for me.
So are you saying then that this would be, because right now Perplexity of the popular LLMs is the clubhouse leader when it comes to research.
Mm-hmm.
This surpasses that.
I think so.
Okay. And it's because of the way that of how it's seeing the internet.
Yeah. And, of course, like I said in the beginning, I don't know if it's still accurate, but I do remember seeing that Perplexity's search result accuracy, they claimed was 9% accurate. 9% of the data that they returned was accurate. And I don't know if that... of course, there could be some searches that people do that are 100% accurate. There could be some searches that people do that are 0% accurate. So it's taking the average there. But I do know that it's pretty dangerous to just trust these things wholeheartedly, right? There's so many people, and even Avi Loeb was talking about this with his students at Harvard. He was saying that he can tell when students are just copy and pasting, right? So especially if you're doing this for work, right? If you're trying to do data analysis, if you're trying to do whatever, it's kind of like you remember when we were in high school, and these they're not called smart calculators. What are
graphing calculators? Yeah.
Well,
we started using
the TI-82.
Yeah, we started using these, and the teachers would be like, "Okay, for this quiz, you can't use your TI-82,"
Yes,
and you're like, "Why? Why? I have this tool. Why can't I use it?" And they're like, "Well, you need to know how to do these things in case you use the tool incorrectly, you at least have like a roundabout idea of, 2 times 150 doesn't equal 450, right? It's 300, right? So you at least kind of like know these things. And so, it's kind of scary to think that all these people are having ChatGPTs and Claudes and Perplexities go do this research for them, and they're not even like looking at it. They're just copy paste back in. And they themselves say like, hey, this is not 100% accurate.
Yeah.
Yeah.
People are just using
Well, and people are, just saying that this is the gospel. This is 100%. Well, because I saw it online. I saw it here. This LLM told me it.
Right.
And it's like, and it's got it's terribly hallucinating at that point and fabricating from nothing.
Right.
I don't think a lot of people know, even in the beginning of what you were saying, where the training model ended December 5th, 2024 on that one. And so it's just going to make up the rest. It's not going to tell you that I don't have that information.
Well,
It's just
even
going
still,
to
it kind of like
fabricate something
we'll
from
pick and
nothing.
choose, right? You were saying like if I go to ChatGPT and I have it do this research for me, and then it builds this analysis, who's to say if it takes research from some random Reddit and uses that as accurate, or if it uses its training model data as accurate, or if it uses an article from CNN as accurate, right? But it's giving you some sort of feedback to determine that.
Right.
So that's why I feel like when using this, at least I'm getting something that's much closer. And then if I can take this tool and combine it with this other tool, now it's even better. Yeah. Right. So
You're kind of supercharging it. Yeah.
Exactly. Yeah. And so that kind of leads me down to this next piece with these rapid AI developments. I'm building a lot on Replit. I'm building a lot on Bolt. I'm building, I'm using Lovable, and it all depends on the type of project that I'm working on. And so I'm doing my my technical blueprints, right? I've got Charlie, the architect, built out. I've got that full knowledge base compiled where Charlie is doing these amazing comprehensive technical blueprints. They're 1,500 to 5,000 lines of context about what this project should be that I hand over to Replit or I hand over to, Lovable. The problem is that the context windows of these AI builders is small. So even though it says like, okay, I've reviewed your entire document, I see everything, I'm going to go build it, and it goes and does this pretty little front end in the beginning, it's still picking and choosing what it's going to build. And then you have to go in and you have to say like, okay, like, did you follow the entire technical blueprint?
Yeah.
It's like, kinda. And you're like, come on, man, like, let's go. We can do this.
Yeah.
Let's get this. So I'm spending, I'm still producing these things much faster, but it's still taking me too much time. Like in my head, I'm like, this should be better. I should be able to get this better, right? But I was still stuck in the fact of like, one single AI should be able to do this for me, but it just couldn't. And so then I started to shift my thought process and started to think like, well, just like with this parallel, if I'm able to take these tools and combine them together, then it will start to get better, right? And so I start adding new things. I start pulling new pieces into these projects to be able to work together and take specialists and make them all kind of work in conjunction to get me like the quality standards that I wanted. And so as I'm doing that, right, it's probably taking me an average project that I'm building that is, it's super custom, right? It's building like these advanced CRMs that have bits and pieces from all these major players. John is building like this ERP solution essentially for like wedding planners and for people that are obviously getting married. And so, I've got one that's it's for property management where it's using OpenAI Vision to scan invoices, and as it's looking at all these different invoices, so it's reading your emails, through like a forward. It's scanning for attachments. It's finding invoices. And once it gets the invoice, it takes all the key elements from the invoice that was sent to your email and it puts it into your property management system. So you don't have to have a person just keying everything in.
Nice.
Taking a bunch of time.
Yeah.
So stuff like that. So it's not like just silly like landing page websites.
Yep.
Right. So as I'm building all these out, I'm getting better as I'm building it. The tools are getting more robust. I'm starting to compile all these things together that really like work and make sense. But it's still taking me too long. And I'm still having to like go back into these AI agents and say, no, come on, like this is wrong. Go back, redo it, go back, redo it. And then I would even get to points where it's like the project's foobar, right? It just it got too muddied up. And so I'd have to start it all over again. And as I'm doing this, I'm like, all right, if I've got these AI agents that can do specific things, and like I've got my technical blueprint agent, Charlie, I've got my deep research agent that uses Parallel to send back to Claude to do this analysis. What if I start to build out all these agents that are doing all the things that I'm manually doing, right, in these builds, that are pushing to GitHub and that are doing code reviews and that are looking in and testing all these buttons and making sure like the back end and the front end are talking to each other and all these things that people are doing. It's like AI can really do all these things. One AI can't do it, but if I make a bunch of them, then it could. So I was like, well, I'm gonna do that. And so for the last like 3 months, I've just been head down building this tool. And so I'm calling it Human in the Loop, right? So it's 19 different AI agent specialists that are all designed to do very specific things in the software development ecosystem. And I'm using Claude Code as like the main builder. As I was doing all this, I figured, you know, all these tools, they're not wrappers of Claude Code, but they kind of are. And they're expensive, right? So every project that I was building on like a Replit, for example, was costing me hundreds of dollars in token use. And I think they do that on purpose because, right, that they want these bugs to exist. Because once you get so far into it, what are you going to do? You're going to just give up and stop using it? No, you're going to keep building it, because you're invested, you're pot committed. But so, you know, when we're building all these protocols and we're running through all this stuff, like the biggest thing was being able to have full context of the entire project. And so Google launched a new tool, and I played around with that for a little bit. And I'm trying to think it's not called Jupyter. It's called I can't remember. But anyways, that's what they claimed is like this thing would have full context, and it's basically like a Claude Code competitor. But it's not as good, right? And I kind of determined all of this when looking at like the rounds of investments that these companies were getting, and they're all getting like tens of millions, hundreds of millions, right? And Anthropic's getting 14 billion. And I was like, this probably is the engine that's powering everything. So maybe I should just really focus on this. And turns out I think I was right. So by taking Claude Code CLI, right now you guys can see, like I've got this up in my terminal, and I'm building everything. And then, you know, we've got on, we don't want that.
Everybody wants to meet with John.
Yeah, if you'd like to schedule a meeting, use cal.com.
So we got it in localhost, right? And this is the dashboard of Loop. So human in the loop, right? And that was the whole theory, is that I wanted to be able to have one person run an entire software development agency and basically have unlimited scalability, where the only responsibilities I have, right, or anybody would have, are client-facing, because you don't want to lose that, right? Clients still want to talk to a person. So a lot of this is dummy data, right? This is just in localhost, and I just have it for presentable reasons. Didn't want to put your real client information in here. And so I'm using this for myself right now, but I'm planning on launching this right for public consumption in the next month or two. So when we look at this, right, this is the mission control center, right? You got your total projects, active projects, how much revenue, what's outstanding, pending approval, active builds, financial command center, your agent command center. So this is giving a bunch of warnings. Obviously, it's because it's saying the agents aren't connected, but it's for demo purposes.
Sure.
So the first thing I'll show you guys is I wanted to be able to have like a master agent that I could basically like click on and I could say, what is the status of anything, right? I want you to know everything about everything that's happening in the ecosystem. So that's where we got this loop master agent, can ask it whatever you want, like, hey, who's late on payment? What agents are having the worst success rates? What do I need to go clean up? And then this is the rest of the stuff that, you know, from being in a software development agency for 20 years, these are the things that I know that you need. But the biggest thing is these different AI agents. So how this normally works for me right now when I'm manually doing this, the process of manually building all this out, is I'll run a discovery meeting on Google Meet. I'll have Gemini transcribe the meeting, and then I will take that and I'll turn it into like a project brief, and then I'll hand it over to Charlie, or well, actually take that back. I hand it over to a proposal agent that I created, and I'll have it build out a proposal based on everything it knows through this discovery meeting, right? I'm trying to put together, just for the purposes of this, I'm trying to put together a, what is it? I'm losing my train of thought. Gosh, it's where a little widget will pop up on my Google Meets. It's not a Google app. It's I'm having a major brain fart. I cannot believe I can't think of this. It's
I feel bad that I can't help.
one of these. What are these?
Oh, extensions.
Yeah, Chrome extension. Gosh. I'm trying to do a Chrome extension where this Chrome extension will be able to sit in on the Google Meet. It will be able to live listen to everything that's being discussed, and it'll be able to prompt a salesperson to say like, hey, make sure to ask about payments, make sure to ask about, you know, this piece,
Nice.
you know, hey, it looks like they're going down a rabbit hole of things, like bring them back in and try and like get things back organized for them. So I've got that, but it's a work in progress because it's just for me right now, and I don't feel like I need it. But other people might. And so anyways, it goes to the proposal agent, and then it goes to the agreement agent, and then it goes to the project manager agent. Then it goes to the alchemist, right, who's creating all of the stuff to be able to hand over to the research agent. Then finally it goes to the architect, and then it's being handed to the foreman of the project, right, who is going to oversee all of this. And then it's going to the autonomous builder.
Getting all excited over here.
Yeah, so it goes to the autonomous builder, which is Claude code in the CLI. And then it's got a bug fixer, quality guard, analyzer, the prompt engineer. So this is just basically like cleaning up prompts that these AI agents are giving each other, making sure that they're not just talking about, whatever AI agents talk about, probably nothing. A/B tester, regression detector, outcome tracker, knowledge curator, GitHub services, Slack services, and then Puppeteer services. So Puppeteer, right? Basically, what I've got right here is I built my own like Lovable, right? So I've got my chat on this side right here, and then this is my preview, but it's just all on my local machine. So not only does this cost like, I don't know, it's much cheaper, right? The stuff that I would build on here that would normally cost hundreds of dollars on a Replit is costing me a few dollars with this. And I don't know if this is true, but I've also read rumors that Claude or Anthropic, when other tools are using their servers, like they're getting the shitty servers and Claude Code's getting the good ones, which kind of makes sense, right?
Competitive edge, yeah.
Yeah. So they want people to use, and
Direct,
who knows, that could be complete nonsense, but that was just kind of like another selling point for me. It's like, well, if it was me doing this, I would do that too. So
Yeah.
okay. So anyways, you got all these different AI agents and they're all designed to work together and they're all designed to have like specific roles and responsibilities that they're all really good at. By themselves, they're awful. But working together in this assembly line, now it's cooking, right? Now I can actually start to do some damage.
So you took all the best parts of these AI tools and said, you're good at this part. I'm going to use you just for that.
Yeah.
And then you're going to this next tool, which is really good at this one thing specifically. You're going to do that. And then just on down the line.
Right.
Nice.
Yeah. So I was thinking of it like an assembly line, right? Like a loop.
Yeah.
And when you think about like, you know, building cars back in the day, you could build a really good car, but how do you do it faster? How do you do more of them, right? You put them on an assembly line.
Yeah. How do you automate parts of the assembly line?
Well, why couldn't we do the same thing for software?
Yeah.
And so that's kind of what, you know, where I landed with this. So now, in theory, I don't fully trust this yet, right? But like I said, I'm working on 16 different projects. They're all, you know, for most of them, they're taking me probably 80 hours total for each of these projects to get them across the finish line. Some are probably a little less, somewhere between like 40 and 80, right? So my goal with this is each project should take me 4 hours. And the only responsibilities that I will have as human in the loop is I need to run the Google Meet. And then this Miles is going to send me Slack notifications that says, hey, John, this part of the project is either done or having issues. You either need to go look at this or you need to approve it because it's client facing. And before anything goes to a client, I want to be able to approve it, right? I don't want just AI going willy-nilly, sending emails, doing whatever. So now that should be my only responsibility. And instead of me going into Claude Code and prompting, or in Replit, prompting, all that is done. So these are all just working in the background now. And they're doing everything that they're supposed to do. So it's like truly autonomous because they're all kind of like saying like Claude Code says to, you know, Maverick, it says like, hey, all right, I've finished this part. You know, what do I need to do next? Right? Claude Code's always giving like, hey, here's where we're at. What next? Well, that's where Maverick comes in, where it's going to say like, okay, did you do X, Y, Z? Right? Did you do all the trim on the side of the house? No, you haven't yet? Okay, go do that. That's what you do next. So this can just work while I sleep.
Nice.
Holy shit.
Nice.
Yeah, I'm excited about this, guys. So
I am too.
it's been it's been a long time in the works, and it's been a lot of like me trying to think through, because you guys know, right, with what we do in our day to day, there's so much domain knowledge that you have that you don't even think about maybe is even like valid in like a process like this. It's second nature, right? You don't think about how you walk, you just walk.
Right.
And you know, AI agents aren't like that. So if you don't give them like okay, you're going to put one foot in front of the other, you're going to use your heels, your toes, your ankles, your knees, your hips, right? That's how you walk. We just take it as second nature. AI needs to have like a full grasp of how to do that. So that's like, you know, what these 19 different AI agents are for. And the other thing too is I was like, I have to be able to do more than these, right? Because obviously I'm charging less than what I would charge for traditional software development because the margins are good. I could.
Yep.
But I wanted to like really, you know, doing 10 to 20 of these projects every month, like you're making decent money, but I was like, how do I get to 100? How do I get to 1,000? Well, now, as long as I have enough bandwidth to take discovery meetings and to approve or deny on Slack, I can do as many as I want, which I think could be around 100 a month.
See, this is fucking awesome.
It really is.
And it's, Drew and I are just kind of silent over here because, and if you can smell the smoke, well, I don't know
talk
if
too much.
The
No,
smoke's
it's
not
what
coming
it is.
out because of the earphones, but I mean, this is, you have pulled together a lot of the stuff that we've talked about in here and outside of here. So one of them is, we've said this several times, if you're going to integrate AI into your business, you need to treat it like a human, because you have to give it instruction, very clear instruction in what it's supposed to do. And the idea of trying to have one AI that does everything is not a good idea.
Mm-hmm.
And so what you've done is break it down into individual components. And then that thing is amazing at that one thing.
Right.
You were not going to ask it to do things that it's not trained on, just like you wouldn't if you had a specialist in your organization. You're not going to ask a painter to go weld because that's not what they're good at. So the other thing is really knowing the workflows. So 20 years of experience doing this has allowed you to completely understand the beginning to end flow of how the work is supposed to go through the organization. So that's why, and we've said that domain expertise is so important in the age of AI, and that knowledge, and just regular business knowledge, and being in out and working with clients for 20 years, like all that fed into this, right?
Yeah.
So I think that's so important for anybody that wants to build anything. Is one, you need to be able to know it so well that you can describe it to an agent that is going to reproduce that thing, but also understanding the business well enough that you can break it down like that. And I think this is that personified, and it's incredible.
Thank you. Yeah, I think another, I thought of it as a weakness when I first started doing this, but I think it's kind of an advantage to me now is, when I started this journey, I didn't have any coding background, right? I've been involved in software for forever, but I didn't have the background of actually writing the code. And so what that led to is me having to dissect, right, all these different AI agents, all these builders, and almost like take them apart. How do you work? And then I could say like, okay, well, that's good. That's good. That's going to be that's going to be a problem for me. I need to figure out how to solve that one thing. Whereas, if you just take a regular developer or senior developer, they're going to say like, that's shit, I won't use it. Well, that one's okay, I can use it for this one thing. And so by doing that, I really had to like learn and teach myself all these things. So, for me, I'm up till like 2, 3 a.m. every night, because I got my regular job, right? But I'm up to like 2, 3 a.m. every night grinding on this, because I'm just like, this is going to be sweet. And, once I can start using this for myself, like I'm going to be able to take my current workload and 20x it. So it should be worth it.
It should be. And, you start extrapolating this. So what if you weren't a software dev shop and you were an accounting firm?
Yeah.
There's going to be an agent that can plug into all the different roles and responsibilities of an accounting firm.
Yeah, there's a wide application for this.
And again, we're never have and won't advocate, replacing people with this. But if you're able to replace the things that are automatable and let the people do the people part, like interacting with clients is a great example of, for the foreseeable future, at least for our generation 1 or 2 before, are going to still want to interact with humans when they're making business decisions.
Right.
Next generations coming up is going to be a different story.
Right.
They're going to grow up in an AI native world, and their agents are just going to talk to other people's agents and all that. But this is powerful. You're really freeing up a lot of the mundane work that people they're doing it because they need to pay their bills and they need a check, but they'd rather be doing something that they were more wired for.
Yeah.
Well, and I think you're not replacing your people, you're elevating them, evolving them, as we always say, to managers to manage. Here's your team.
Yeah.
Here's your team of 19 people right here
Yeah.
that are all specialists that are able to work together seamlessly. That's what you're now doing. You're managing that team.
Yeah.
It's just a virtual team.
Absolutely. So this isn't designed to replace Replit or Lovable or Base 44 or any of those things. It's an agency specific tool, right? So it's for people that are in sales and that they're like, why am I making all this money for this company? I should just be doing this myself. If I could just like have a team, but I don't have any technical background, like what am I going to do? You could use this.
Yeah.
Right? And as long as you know enough to basically say, that's bad, that's good, or that's not working, that is working, like you have enough technical background to use a tool like this. And then there's also the scalability factor, right? If your guys' company, if you had 100 clients knocking on your door tomorrow, how many of them do you have to turn down?
Right. Right.
Well, that sucks because they're just going to go find somebody else who can do it for them. So if you're capped at what you can produce, but if you said, hey, I've got 100 clients for you, just allocate one person for me and a month of their time. In theory, right? Maybe it'll be a little longer. Maybe it'll be 2 months. But if you were to say that, you'd be like, yeah, we can handle that. Like we can take on 100 clients. Sure. No problem. And they just need to be comfortable knowing like, hey, like this is how you do things with traditional software development. This is what I tell people, right? Here's your avenues. You got traditional software development. Here's how it works. Here's the people that you work with. Here's your team. Here's how you interact with them. Or you have, these AI assembly lines, right? Your rapid AI development. Here's how it works. Here's the benefits. Here's the SWOT analysis, essentially, of both parts. I haven't had anybody though that said like, give me the traditional.
Well, sure.
Right.
Sure. At that point.
And it really all comes down to the monetary amount. And I don't, I mean, maybe people are just, they like deals. But if you're looking at a bill that's $20,000 or you're looking at a bill that's $300,000 and one of them you get in 4 to 8 weeks, and
Right.
the other one you get in 8 to 16 months.
Well, and it's still meeting my goals.
Right.
You're still meeting my goals.
Yeah.
So why wouldn't I do the 20,000?
Right. Do you want a car that's somebody builds by hand, or do you want to buy one off this? As long as
Exactly.
as long as you're not making like a souped up, whatever, you're probably taking the assembly line car.
Yeah.
Right. It's your daily driver.
We got to wrap this up.
Damn it.
We're actually overtime.
Fine.
Overtime. The OT with
Fine.
the AI Lab.
This is awesome. Thank you.
Yeah. You're welcome.
Yeah, I always appreciate having you on, man. This is cool stuff. We're probably teeing this up for the third episode you're going to be on.
Yeah.
But this is really good stuff. I'm really interested to see your results of how you're using it, how stuff evolves in here, each part of this.
Can I ask you guys' opinion on one thing before we wrap?
Sure.
So eventually, right, I'm using this for myself. I want to launch this as a SaaS product or whatever.
Sure.
I'm toying around with the idea, and I've got some forecasting and stuff put together. And when you're building a SaaS product, you're always thinking about like, what are my price points? Excuse me. And when we were doing all this forecasting, it was saying like we probably want to be around somewhere between like $1,500 and $2,000 per month for something like this for agencies. And I was like, what if I were to flip it on its head a little bit? And what if instead I said this was free and anybody could get on it? And instead of charging per deal that you did, what if you just ran a commission? Because all these AI agents, right? There's an AI agent that facilitates payments. They handle Stripe. They handle agreements. They do all of that. So you have to use that AI agent before it goes to the next part in the assembly line. So in my head, I'm like, well, I could just have it to where anybody could use this for free. And if they close a deal, they keep, let's say, 80% of
Sure.
whatever they close, and 20% goes back to this. It's a win-win, right? You got an 80% margin on this piece, which is unheard of, right? Nobody has an 80% margin on custom software. And this makes a lot of money, right? Because this thing runs on like a 97% margin. And then that way it's zero risk. So anyways, you guys think that's a good idea, bad idea? It's probably like a stupid question, right? I feel like it has to be a good idea.
No, it's an interesting question.
The only hiccup, I don't know what word I was trying to come up with, that I could think of is, what if I just used it? What if I bought it for New Wave and I just used it to build for New Wave? Then you wouldn't get anything.
Well, the thing is, that's how the system works. If you wanted to build a project, you would have to upload the transcript, right, of that project. Then it's going to go to the proposal agent, right? That proposal agent's going to say like, hey, this is what it should cost, right? And it's got like a floor capped, right? You can't go under, you can't go sell this for $5. And so then it's got that piece, right? And then it goes to the agreement agent. The agreement agent puts together the agreement, they sign it. Then it goes to the Stripe agent, payment processes. And before that payment even hits your account, my cut's taken out of it. So the other piece too, for like sake of this.
So I couldn't use it for my own company, my own use, because I'd have to pay. I'd still have to pay to use it, to do it myself.
Are you saying building projects for?
I guess
for New Wave.
Think of it
for
this
internal
way.
use.
You could use it, and then whatever the cost of something would be. So like, let's say something is $10,000 to build that this thing thinks, it would cost you $2,000 to build.
I get the homegrown discount because I'm using it for my own.
I could hook you up with
purposes.
this. Yes. But it's
no, I
for
wasn't.
agents-
No,
it's for
I wasn't
agencies-
asking for a discount. I was just thinking, take New Wave out of it. Company XYZ.
Yeah.
Because I'm going to be really tempted to use it. I'm going to want to use it for my own company.
Yeah.
And if I'm in the kind of business where I'm supporting clients, sure, I'm going to use that whole workflow that you just described. Would there be, if I've just called it an internal project, could that be free for me? Or I guess just something to consider, because you're asking. I'm just trying to think of the ways that you could get
Sure.
tripped up, but
Well, because the way this is structured, right? If we go into like the admin panel, do I have that in here? There is somewhere where you have to plug in your API keys. Yeah, so you're
There you go.
configuring
Yeah.
all your API keys. So the customer, or I guess the client of Loop, is paying all the token costs. So that's why like my margins for this is insane, because I'm paying like $12 a month for
tokens,
to host it, and then whatever tokens I'm personally using for clients, right, is just coming out of the margin of that project. So for me to take this on like an enterprise scale for like a SaaS company, it costs me almost nothing, right? It's just users being on the site and using it, but they're using all their own tokens anyways.
Interesting. This is awesome. This is awesome.
Thanks. I know we got to wrap, guys. You guys probably want to get lunch. You've been in here for...
Appreciate you being on here, man.
Yeah.
Tell our viewers where they can find you.
Yeah. I mean, all the social media channels, right? LinkedIn. I don't know, like, I'm not really big on social media, but I'm on there. If you'd send me a message, I'll respond to it. You can email me, Kairos, digital.com. You can find me there.
Awesome. Well, John, thanks for being on our show. Thanks for showing us this. This is awesome. This is really exciting to see where this is going to go. So we'll definitely check in with you.
Thanks, guys.
If you like today's episode, please hit the like and subscribe button and leave us a comment at the bottom if you're building something using AI as well. Thanks, everybody.